Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for This Needs to Be Said segment, This Needs to Be Read. I am doing my first interview for 2025, and it's a privilege because, one, it's a book. You know, I'm a bookworm, and I love it. The second one, because I have recently become a fish mom, I'm interested in knowing if I'm really communicating with my little guys, but also to share with the audience something that every pet lover, fur mom, dad may be interested in knowing, how to properly communicate with your fur baby, you know, how to connect with them. And it seems like, and I don't know anybody else who has this gift, but it seems like you can also communicate with them even after they've gone. So this interview is not just for our living animals that we've had in our lives. So I wanted to give you that nugget. Hang on. We're going to be here just for a few moments sharing with, and it's crazy. She's my Facebook friend, but we can't figure out how we connected. If you guys don't use social media, you better use social media because you get connected to some of the most dynamic people. So today I have Daniela Amato, author of Finding Joy, A Dog's Tale, and I want to introduce her to the audience through her words. I'm telling you my energy, but she's going to introduce you to her. Welcome to This Needs to Be Read, Daniela. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Before I mess it up, yes, popping cherries, man. I love it. Okay. Okay. Listen, I want you to share with the This Needs to Be Said audience, you know, what's your purpose today here? You know, tell us what you want us to know about you.
Oh, sure. So I am an animal communicator. That is someone who can communicate with all kinds of animals. The closest way I could describe it is using telepathy, connecting with energy, feeling the vibrations of the animals and their energy, and basically reading their thoughts. But each animal communicator works differently, so I could only speak for myself. But I pick up their energy. I see images that they're sending me, and I feel on my body mild discomfort. If it's something that they want to talk about, I'll feel it on my body. And then impressions of words. So I'm not hearing voices, but it's more like an impression, as well as picking up your emotions.
Okay, okay. Now, so because I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm getting rusty, so I gotta make sure you're gonna get some of the bugs because it's the first one. Because I'm a person that just imagines great and wonderful things and think, okay, I imagined it, I can do it. And of course, there's quotes to support that, but there are people who don't believe that way. That you know, whatever you are, you always have been. You're just developing it over time. As I was reading through the book, reading your bio, you imagined being able to speak to animals. And then it became a reality for you to be able to communicate. I say speak, but I mean communicate, whatever that shows up as, people, because we text and everything now. But you are able to communicate with animals, but that was something that started as an imagination for you. So when did you know, wait a minute, I'm no longer imagining, this is real, I can really do this?
So it's kind of, I'm just going to correct you if I can. When I was little, I thought I was hearing the animals, but it was everyone around me that was like, oh, that's your imagination, you're so creative, you're so imaginative. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay, it's my imagination, because that's what the grown-ups were telling me.
I see
what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for fixing that, because I got it.
Sure. So when did I first really know, like, oh, yeah, I am talking to animals?
Right.
It was probably different stages in my life, but the last final, like, there's no turning back from this, was when I had Little Bear, which is, you know, in the gosh, I'm dating myself. So at least 15 years ago, around that point.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And before that, it was just more like here and there. You know, I would think I heard something, kind of keep it in my pocket. Like, you don't walk around saying like, oh, I heard that giraffe over there at the zoo. You know, people just look at you like you're crazy. You know.
Right. And I understand. I mean, that's with anything. Me quitting my job and they're saying your job was paying good and you started a business and you have no idea how it's going to make money. Yeah. So there's all forms of what people would call crazy. So I do absolutely understand. So you decided there's no turning back. So what made you brave and go forward and be brave? My words are getting stumbled. But what caused you to be able to go forward and be brave with it to help other people? Because I don't know how it is where you live, but I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and lately, and I'm saying like the last 15 years since I've been podcasting, our community has become more animal friendly. I remember renting an apartment, and they would discourage you with the pricing for, you know, having a pet. But they still have that same discouraging price, and people are paying it now. So it's crazy that we have dog parks, animal bars. It's a lot of the pet daycare. So, I mean, it's more animal-centric now. So I could see this conversation being something that would be important to the people in my community who have animals.
Yeah,
so
I think so. Yeah. Definitely times are changing and they are becoming more animal friendly in general. When did I decide to help others? It kind of just happened, to be honest. Little Bear a lot to keep training, as he, you know, referred to it as. He thought he was my trainer. He was. But then as I, you know, grew in my life and I did different things, like I became a Reiki master, that really opens my senses up and really opens me up to honing in my craft of animal communication. And then, you know, you start off like just with friends, you're having a session for a friend or a coworker, and then once I started seeing, wow, people really can learn how to treat their animals better by understanding them. But, you know, communication is any relationship, right? So once I realized once I realized that, I was like, this is something I want to do on a regular basis, to be the voice for the animals and help humans learn how to communicate and, just communicate better with their companions.
You had a term. You have a term in your book, animal speak. Well, maybe it's in your bio, but animals. What is that?
Animal speak is a term that came to me when I was writing the book. I don't take credit for it. It just came into my head, so it was either Little Bear or Spirit. It's a word, it's a phrase rather used to describe the various communication methods that animals use to get their point across to their families, their humans, and other species. So they could communicate with all beings through this method. Basically, they're using all of their senses as well as body language, sending imagery, sounds. You know, that elephants, they do documentaries on how elephants can communicate through vibration and sound over, thousands of miles. It's a phrase that came and it sort of encompasses all of that, all of the different ways that animals use to communicate.
Okay. Let me understand, because what I thought I knew was that if I had a session with you, you'd help me communicate better with my animal. But it sounds like also that you would teach me how to communicate. Am I understanding right?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny you say that, though, because that thought did come to me the other day. I was like, maybe I should do lessons for people. Right now, I don't, unless someone specifically asks me, like, how can I do this, or how can I be more aware. Then I'll just, say one or two things in the session to help them. But the thought did come to me, like, maybe I should do this as an alternate service. But I haven't worked that out yet.
Okay, so it's in the works possibly. Okay, so so my initial thought was that you helped me communicate with my pet or with my animal. I don't know. Am I supposed to say pet? Is that okay?
It's fun. I don't like it, but I'm not the ruler of words, so like you use what you're comfortable with. I just prefer companion because to me, pet is more like an ownership type of thing. And while we do have pets and we care for them, like we wouldn't. I don't know. It just companion just seems more like what they are to us. They're our friends.
Okay.
That's how I
can go with that. Okay, all right. Now, you penned this book, but whose story is being told? Whose voice are we hearing?
Yeah, so it is Little Bear's story. It is the whole book is written from his perspective, and he was quite a character. And it just pretty much tells his whole life from his point of view, the different stages, the different lessons he had to learn. And he also gives humans some food for thought, too, on how to handle situations.
Now, I saw some of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Little Bear was my animal companion. I failed to mention
and that's
that before.
who Finding Joy, A Dog's Tale is, yes. So in the book, as I'm reading, he talks about Mommy having a friend, and he'd bite if need be. And I said, wait, did I read that right?
What? What did you say?
One of the I'm sorry, I might have got too excited. One of the parts in the book that I read about Little Bear was he said, Mommy would have a friend over, but he would bite if need be. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but he would sit between you and whoever it was, have his back against you and got his eye on your friend. And I'm like, I could definitely picture that.
He was
and
protect.
just the definitely joy, not to play directly on the word in the title of the book, but just it's interesting because I think of all the movies that I've seen, and I'm like, I'm really getting ready to meet someone who has this ability. A Dog's Purpose, and then there was another one that was a sequel to it, I think, and they weren't necessarily communicating directly, but they still communicated, but the dog had his own voice. And then when you talked about Little Bear's name changing, as his owner or companions have changed. So I thought, man, as humans, we may, get nicknames, or someone from work calls you something different from someone in your family, but, the animals get different names, just because, I don't know what your last name was. I want you to have this name,
Sure.
So just a different life. They take on whatever life of the companion. It just changes.
Sure.
I, have different relationships, but my name didn't change, so I'm thinking that has to be something also that he dealt with, and I didn't get into it. Like I told you, I'm still reading the book, and we'll finish it, but I'm just thinking of everything having a soul or having a spirit, having an energy, and, what is he thinking, what if he decided, I want my name to be, whatever, something else, and these people keep calling me something,
Right. Right.
So,
And it's funny, like people, some animals don't care what you call them. They really have no preference. And then some are very particular. So just like humans, some are more easy, some are more, OCD or whatever. Animals have different. Yeah. Not all dogs are the same. Not all cats are the same. They're each individual beings with their own personalities, just like humans.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've been talking a lot. I want you to tell us about how to connect with you outside of This Needs to Be Read.
Oh, sure. So the easiest way probably is my Instagram. That is heart_communications. On that Instagram page, we'll have a connection to my email, which is the best way to schedule with me. But the Instagram is great because there's videos. I'm starting to get into doing more of me talking about animal communication and little clips.
Okay.
And updates, if I'm having any specials or if there's any news I want to, say. So the Instagram is probably the best starting point for someone.
Okay. How long have you been doing this now?
The animal communication?
Yes.
Professionally, I'd say 5 years.
Okay. And before that, because life is training, so I don't think it just started 5 years ago. That's just when professionally, like you said. But when did it start? Like, how long have you been doing it? Yeah.
Animal. Yeah. Consistently, I would say since 2019, and before that, it was just here and there. And then different stages of my life got busier, and I wasn't always in the right frame of mind or the right, space to hear and to understand what I was hearing. So I would say like 2019 began the consistency of it.
Okay. Well, I hope that people reach out to you. I'm looking forward to us having more conversations. Oh, one of the questions I have before we get out of here, are there any animals you do not communicate with?
So I believe that I could probably speak with any animal. I've not had the opportunity to speak with, every type of animal. Usually it's cats, dogs, rabbits, horses, goats, cows, like your mainstream animals.
Okay.
I have yet to speak with a snake or, reptiles or, things like that. But that doesn't mean that I can't. It just hasn't happened yet.
Okay. So you're open to that. Because I'm a fish mom, and I need to know what these guys got going on. We've been talking with Daniela Amato, author of Finding Joy, A Dog's Tale. Where can they get a copy of your book?
It is currently on Amazon. I'm working with the publisher to get it on to Barnes & Noble's online again. But Amazon is for sure, the easiest way to get it.
Absolutely. And give that Instagram one more time.
It is heart_communications.
Thank you, Daniela, for being my first guest for 2025. Thank you so much.
It was fun.
You're welcome.
Nice speaking.
Oh, I'm glad it was fun. All right. Thank you. That's a good way to kick it off. Until we speak again, have a wonderful day.
You do the same. Bye-bye.